So, I actually regret becoming a homeowner. Hey y'all, welcome back to the pod. A new year, is it? A new year means a new thought train is kicking off. Are you ready to dive in? On a side note, some of my horrors from 2025 are persisting into 2026. It's so unfortunately on the nose with what I wanted to talk about today that it's really a sign from God herself that I just need to follow through on what I'm feeling. And that feeling is regret. I used to be an influencer. I know that's such a dirty word now, depending on the crowd, but I loved that shit. I loved getting dolled up. My niches were fashion, makeup, and skincare. Doing my little TikToks, editing all my videos, and creating voiceovers, which later launched my voice acting career, so it really opened up a lot of doors for me, literally and metaphorically. Most of all, I loved the community I created on my little corner of the internet. And I was really fortunate to turn a profit in late 2021, early 2022, with my video editing, voiceover work, and influencer work. So much of a profit that I found myself with enough money for a down payment on a home. With that and my growing disdain for renting and having my money disappear into the ether, I started to meet with a realtor and explore my options. Being a stereotypical eldest daughter once again, I decided that this would be the perfect time to move cities. So in two swoops, I'm purchasing a home and moving to another city where I know maybe 3 or 4 distant family members at most. What was I thinking? I actually don't know, and I really need to start keeping journals. I do remember that I was trying to escape the dating hellscape that is Austin, Texas, and landed on Houston being the best thing for my romantic life. Mind you, I decided this after only visiting once. The visits I made with and without my realtor after deciding this sealed the deal for me. Why I bought one. After weighing the pros and cons of either owning a house or a condo, I decided to go the condo route and lived in one of the most walkable parts of the city I could find. Being a city lover at heart, this was a dream that I knew I'd never be able to achieve with Austin's sky-high prices. Renting anything in that neighborhood at the time was infinitely more expensive than buying a place, and I wanted to add an investment to my life that was serious and mostly permanent. I also love the idea of finally being able to aimlessly put holes in walls, renovate, and permanently decorate without living in perpetual impermanence. So, what's the issue now? Well, I'll tell ya. The issue now. Drum roll, please. Capitalism. Okay, buckle up, buttercups. I wish I was lying when I said I just got a quote for a new AC system for a little over $37,000. I shit you not. It's not the lowest quote I've received. I've gotten a couple. But yes, this was one of them. Highway fucking robbery, folks. I just laughed when I saw it. Okay, first I gasped, then I laughed because there's no way in hell. This, though, is just one example of how expensive it has gotten to maintain a home. I also wanted to change 2 of my obnoxious barn doors to regular doors last year, and I think I was quoted somewhere in the neighborhood of $5,000 for both of them. And when there was a leak coming from my shower hardware, also last year. Shit, man. 2025 kind of sucked for me as a homeowner. That quote was also obnoxious. I can't take many more hits, y'all. It might be time to bounce. And then there's the fucking HOA. The thing that only white elders want, I'm convinced. My monthly, yes, monthly, not yearly, payments to the HOA have jumped up about 40% since I closed on my home. I'm paying a little over $900 a month for the HOA alone. I don't want to hear, oh, but it's for the upkeep of the building, or, oh, you're better off with one than without one. Listen, when your HOA is as poorly run as mine is, it does not matter. Even if it is run well, I've talked to enough homeowners to get the consensus that we all hate them. So why? Why? To not totally dog on mine, though, they have finally stepped up in the last year. But baby, it's fairly late in the game for me, so I can only imagine how long the other owners in this building have been dealing with the shitty effort they have put forth until now. As someone who is very type A, doesn't have a lot of time on their hands, and expects people to put out the same effort that I do in literally everything, I'm over it. I'm just over it. Why? Why can't they keep up? Capitalism aside, I feel like I got some things off my chest there, so let's move on to the matters of whimsy. Whimsy number 1. I am facing the reality of buying a home in a city I've never lived in. Okay, this one anyone probably could have seen coming, and it's not at all that I don't love the city that I'm in now. It's more so that I'm now seeing the downsides of the neighborhood that I live in a more familiar light. Because I did ask around when I was shopping and got the whole spiel that the neighborhood I'm in, has this certain problems, that certain problems, but it's great for this, great for that. Like, I understood what I was getting into, but now I see it from, the perspective of living in it. And yeah, it's different. And yes, it's hella walkable, fun. It's where a lot of people go out, and it makes the lousy metro system here actually usable. But there are naturally things that strike up as annoying once you become a long-term resident. I won't inundate you with my list of grievances. Those are mine to bear. They're definitely making me question, though, if they're worth dealing with in the neighborhood I'm in on top of all the financial hurdles. Whimsy number 2. Navigating dating while being a homeowner as a woman comes with some mental gymnastics. To be crystal clear, I do not want to deter women from buying a home before they have a serious partner or without a serious partner because of what I'm about to talk about here. This purchase, despite the mental gymnastics, has been one of the most rewarding chapters in my life. Okay, in disclaimer, let's get to my point here. There are men out there that are put off to the idea of moving into a woman's home, especially if that home is very permanent in nature, like mine is. And stereotypically, women either move into a man's home, right, or both people move out of their individual homes and move into a new space together. So it really throws some of them off when the conversation becomes, hey, when are you going to pack up all your shit and move into the home I already own? The other thing, which interestingly enough is a legal thing, from what I understand. But living with someone you didn't go in together with, on the down payment or, just putting money into it so that you don't have a huge loan, can present some legal ownership ripples. If the person who moves in later starts helping you with house maintenance, like paying the mortgage, for example, they could potentially sue for partial ownership if you're together long enough and end up separating. I got that tip from a good friend of mine, and ever since hearing that, I haven't let anyone help in that way, which can be a very difficult thing to talk about. I would equate it to putting prenups in place before a marriage because the person you marry isn't the same person you divorce. People change when relationships go south. You never really know who that person is going to be until you're in it, so you have to protect yourself. And the last thing I'll say about this point of whimsy, even if things go swimmingly well in your relationship and you want to marry each other and find a home that better fits the both of you, that comes with good stress. You then have to go through the process of putting the home up for sale, selling in this volatile market, and finding a home that better suits you both. I mean, unless you got it like that and you can rent out your first home while taking on a second. But that doesn't come without mental and literal overhead costs. And again, good stress, but stress nonetheless. Whimsy number 3. I still have this innate urge to keep moving. You know, I talked with my therapist at length with this very thing. As someone who was at that time entering the mature phases of adulthood and wanted emotionally to be settled down and putting down roots in a city, it was really fucking with me that I still wanted to find a different apartment to live in the following year, or that I wanted to keep living in different cities every 4 to 6 years. I wasn't willing to embrace that part of myself that craved that variety in life, and it's starting to bite me in the ass a little bit. I ignored my intuition, kind of not. I will expand on that later. Bought a home, and now 3.5, I think, years later, I'm itching to move again. And I really wish I knew if that would still be the case, if the building was better kept by the HOA, the neighborhood had continued to live up to my dreams, and if keeping a home together didn't cost as much as it did. But there's no way of knowing that, unfortunately, and I have to make my peace with that. Making my peace. So, here's the thing. All the downsides of my situation aside, I am hella fortunate enough to have the flexibility to a certain degree to stay or leave, which I know I shouldn't take for granted. Trying to buy into the market right now is hard. My mortgage payments won't randomly increase year over year, and I can continue to live in a space of permanence and make changes to my home that I want to make. I do find a lot of comfort in these things. I am still, even if I'm not completely happy, able to settle into this investment that I have in the meantime and let it work for me. Even if I do decide to leave, it's still a major accomplishment for a single Black woman to buy a home completely on their own. No man or institution could take this away from me, and I feel really fucking good about this. To know that all the odds were systematically stacked against me and I still did it? I will forever pat myself on the back for this, and I will not shut up about it. I know that I was drawn to this milestone in my life for a reason, and I'm so glad to have checked it off my list and to have done it independently. And now, circling back to a little more whimsy, and brace yourself, this one is very woo-woo. But moving to the city also aligned with what my heart was calling me to do. I was lonely as hell and in absolute peril trying to date in Austin. Heartbreak after heartbreak, I'm telling you. Something kept calling me here. So much so that I started researching where my geological birth chart was mapping out the milestones in my life. One of my lines went through this city. That sealed the deal on the decision for me. As fate would have it, I met my amazing partner here, not even a year after moving here, and it has been the most beautiful relationship. Closing thoughts. While there are so many things that I love about owning my own place, I can't help but wonder why I feel like I need to keep it when I know deep down I want to make a break for another city again. I was inspired to write this whole article while I was standing in my bathroom, brushing my teeth, and looking at 2 identical lotion bottles on my counter. I laughed at this because even though I consider myself to have quote-unquote made it in the rat race to home ownership and financial stability, and yet I still can't let go of that nearly empty lotion bottle until I'm 1,000% certain I can't get any more out of it. Why is that? Stay tuned for more on that next time.